When will you see the guardians? Was asked with irrepressible impatience. Tomorrow. Why put it off till tomorrow? Go at once for the permit and get the whole thing off your hands tonight. Jane, said the wheelwright, with an impressiveness of tone that greatly subdued his wife. So he is using the language of love or kindness. Okay, so with his kindness, with his kind words, he is trying to convince his wife. So you when you will read about this author, Timothy Shea Arthur, you will definitely learn that it's in his writings, this writing with compassion and sensitivity. His writing is full of compassion and sensitivity, and he had this belief that kindness could transform or restore. Kindness and selfless love has the transformative and restorative power. Okay, so that is what this character Joe Thompson is trying to do. Okay, is applying here. I read in the Bible. So what he says, I read in the Bible sometimes and find much said about little children. How the Savior rebuked the disciples who would not receive them. How he looked them up in his arms and blessed them. And how he said that whosoever gave them even a cup of cold water should not get unrewarded. Now it is a small thing for us to keep this poor motherless little one for a single night, to be kind to her for a single night, to make her life comfortable for a single night. The voice of the strong, rough man shook. So he gets emotional at this time, though he is trying to convince her. He's representing himself as a strong person, but in his internal the soul is shaking. So the voice of the strong rough man shook, and he turned his head away, so that the moisture in his eyes might not be seen. Mrs. Thompson did not answer, but a soft feeling crept in her heart. Look at her kindly, Jane. Speak to her kindly, said Joe. Think of her dead mother and the the pain, the sorrow that must be on her coming life. The softness of his heart gave unwonted eloquence to his lips. Mrs. Thompson did not reply, but presently turned towards the little chamber where her husband had deposited Maggie, and pushing open the door, went quietly. Joe did not follow. He saw that her state had changed and felt that it would be best to leave her alone with the child. So he went to his shop, which stood near the house, and worked until dusky evening released from his labor. So he is trying to give them, both of them, the girl child, Maggie, and his wife, to spend some time together. So they can have that compatibility, or they can have some talk. Okay, so a light shining through the little chamber windows was the first object that attracted Joe's attention on turning towards the house. It was a good omen. So it was a good sign that his wife is interested in this child, and she has some soft heart towards this child. The path led him to this windows, and when opposite, he could not help pausing to look in. It was now dark enough outside to screen him from observation. Maggie lay a little raised on the pillow with the lamp shining full upon her face. So he's not able to look at the face of his wife, Mrs. Thompson, but he is trying to read the expressions of the child, Maggie. So he's trying to read what could be the conversation of these two persons, the child and the wife. So he's trying to judge their conversation, what is happening inside the room. A deep drawn. So let us come to on page number 83. That her expression was sad and tender, but he saw nothing of bitterness or pain. So from her expression, the child expression, he judged that, he calculated that it's not that her wife is kind towards this child, Maggie, and they have a good conversation. They are having a good conversation. So, but he saw nothing of bitterness or pain. A deep drawn breath was followed by one of relief. So they are very calm and composed at this time, as a weight lifted itself from his heart. So it's a big relief for him. On entering, Joe did not go immediately to the little chamber. His heavy tread about the kitchen brought his wife somewhat hurriedly from the room where she had been with Maggie. Joe thought it best not to refer to the child, nor to manifest any concern in regard to her. So he's trying to show that he doesn't know anything, and he's just coming directly from his shop. How soon will supper be ready? He asked. Right soon, answered Mrs. Thompson, beginning to bustle about. So she is also trying to hide the reality that she is feeling comfortable in the company of this girl, and she is liking this. She likes this child, Maggie. There was no asperity in her voice. After washing from his hands and faced the dust and soil of work, Joe left the kitchen and went to the little bedroom. A pair of large, bright eyes looked up at him from the snowy bed, looked at him tenderly, gratefully, pleadingly. How his heart swelled in his bosom, but with what a quicker motion came the heartbeats. Joe sat down and they are having a conversation while they are taking meal, okay, and full of a childish sweetness which suffering had not been able to obliterate. So he came to the room. He went to the room of the child, okay, where he is where this child is, Maggie. Okay, and read the expressions that he has a conversation that he doesn't find anything abnormal or which is not okay. Okay, so distressful. He doesn't find anything distressful. So he reads. He sees he looks at the child's face that it was attractive, and even though these children have faced so much difficulties in their lives, suffered many things, even though they have suffered all this, but this poverty and these difficulties have not obliterated the childish sweetness from her face. So it hasn't destroyed. couldn't destroy the sweetness, childish sweetness from her face. Your name is Maggie, he said as he sat down and took her soft little hand in his. Yes, sir, her voice struck a chord that quivered in a low strain of music. Have you been sick long? Yes, sir. What a sweet patience was in her tone. So they are constantly in patient. They have this patient. You must have read in the second paragraph also that on page number 77 that they face revealing the patience, some kind of patience. They have this patience that if anything could happen, anything happens in life, so there is no reason to worry. Okay, so they are very patient, these children. Has the doctor been to see you? Asked Mr. Thompson. He used to come, but not lately. But not lately? No, sir. Have you any pain? Sometimes, but not now. When had you pain? This morning my side ached and my back hurt when you carried me. It hurts you to be lifted or moved about? Yes, sir. Your side doesn't ache now? No, sir. Does it ache a great deal? Yes, sir, but it hasn't ached any since I have been on this soft bed. So, from this conversation, he has found that she is also, Maggie also feeling comfortable in the house. So yes, sir, but it hasn't ached any since I have been on this soft bed. The soft bed feels good. Oh yes, sir, so good. What a satisfaction mingled with gratitude was in her voice. Supper is ready, and they have the supper, and now she can wait. Now come to this paragraph. She can wait until we are done. Then I will bring her something to eat. There was an effort at indifference on the part of Mrs. Thompson, but her husband had seen her through the window and understood that the coldness was assumed. So it was a fake coldness on her face. Joe waited after sitting down to the table for his wife to introduce the subject uppermost in both of their thoughts. But she kept silent on that theme for many minutes, and he maintained a like reserve. At last she said abruptly, "What are you going to do with that child?" So, can you tell me what are the thoughts of Mr. Thompson's wife?
That what will we do with the children?
Yes?
That what will they do with the child?
Right now,
Yes.
right now she's thinking that the child should stay a bit more.
So she has this conversation, and she likes this girl child. Okay, I thought you understood me that she was to go to the poor house, replied Joe, as if surprised at her question. So, what Mr. Joe Thompson is trying to do? That he is trying to confirm that whether his wife is really interested in this child, or it's just so he's trying to find out the truth. Okay, Mrs. Thompson looked rather strangely at her husband for sonic moments, and then dropped her eyes. The subject was not again referred to during the meal. As its close, Mrs. Thompson toasted a slice of bread and softened it with milk and butter. Adding to this a cup of tea, she took them into Maggie and held the small waiter on which she had placed them, while the hungry child ate with every sign of pleasure. Is it good? asked Mrs. Thompson, seeing with what a keen relish the food was taken. She is trying to take care of Maggie. The child paused with the cup in her hand and answered with a look of gratitude that awoke. It's time. Okay, so we will tomorrow, inshallah, in the next class, we will talk about the author and theme of this story. Okay, we will complete, inshallah, this story. So, do you have any questions? Any doubts?